Once you truly trust quantum energy, reality begins to change in ways that feel almost magical. And what I'm about to share will help you understand why everything starts shifting the moment you surrender to this invisible force. This message has reached you because your consciousness has crossed a very specific vibrational threshold, the point where genuine trust in quantum energy becomes possible. Not intellectual belief, not wishful thinking, not spiritual bypassing, but real cellular level trust. Trust that allows quantum energy to work through you instead of merely circling around you. You felt it already, haven't you? That strange sense that reality is responding more directly to your inner state. That peculiar recognition that when you stop pushing, when you relax and trust something greater than your personal effort, impossible things begin to manifest with uncanny precision. This is not coincidence. This is not placebo. This is quantum energy responding to your trust, revealing its unlimited creative potential. Most people never access this power because they approach it with doubt disguised as belief. They say they trust quantum energy, but at the same time they create backup plans, prepare for disappointment, and constantly monitor whether it's working. That monitoring generates electromagnetic interference that blocks the flow. But when you really trust, when you surrender completely to the intelligence of quantum energy, when you release control of how your desires will manifest and allow the process to unfold through pathways your logical mind could never imagine, reality reorganizes itself around your trust. What emerges feels miraculous, almost too precise, too impossible to be anything but orchestrated. And you've seen glimpses of this already. Those moments when you stopped trying to force something and it appeared effortlessly. The times you trusted completely and solutions arrived from directions you never considered. The days when you allowed yourself to relax into quantum flow, and synchronicities aligned so perfectly they seemed guided by an invisible intelligence. This is the truth. Your trust in quantum energy activates the moment you recognize that your personal effort, while valuable, is only the surface. The real power comes from aligning with quantum intelligence and allowing it to move through you, operating on levels of reality your conscious mind cannot see or control. But here's what truly happens when you genuinely trust quantum energy. It begins revealing its power in increasingly undeniable ways, not to prove anything to you, but because your trust creates the electromagnetic conditions that allow quantum energy to express its full creative potential through your life. What you're about to understand will show you exactly why trust is the missing ingredient that turns quantum energy from an abstract concept into a lived reality. And more importantly, why complete trust triggers manifestations so strange and so precise that they will make you question everything you thought you knew about how life actually works. You've experienced it already, haven't you? Objects appearing exactly when you needed them. Conversations unfolding with the precise information you were seeking. People entering your life who seemed perfectly designed to help with your current challenge. These aren't coincidences. These are quantum energy responding to your growing trust, manifesting with increasing sophistication. Even time begins to behave differently around trust. When you surrender fully into quantum energy, hours can pass like minutes, or minutes stretch into rich, expansive experiences that feel like hours. You are stepping into what physicists call subjective time flow, your consciousness influencing temporal experience through its relationship with quantum energy. Your body also responds differently when you trust. Chronic tension dissolves without physical intervention. Energy levels rise without dietary changes. Sleep becomes deeper, more restorative, even if you spend fewer hours in bed. Your physical form is recalibrating itself, not to mechanical survival patterns, but to quantum energy principles. The thoughts that come to you in these states aren't ordinary thoughts. They're downloads, insights that arrive fully formed, understandings that transcend your personal knowledge. You are accessing what consciousness researchers call non-local intelligence, quantum energy transmitting information directly into your awareness. Animals and children sense it too. They respond with unusual openness and curiosity because they can feel the coherence of the electromagnetic field generated by genuine trust. You are becoming a living transmission tower for harmonious energy, and sensitive beings recognize it instantly. Even your dreams have changed. They've become channels of quantum communication. You receive guidance, glimpse potential futures, and awaken with solutions to problems you never consciously worked on. Dream consciousness already operates from quantum principles, and your trust allows that intelligence to bleed more clearly into waking awareness. Technology responds differently too. Devices function more smoothly when you approach them from a state of trust. Problems resolve spontaneously when you let quantum energy guide the outcome. Your coherent electromagnetic field is beginning to influence mechanical systems through principles of entanglement. And perhaps most remarkable of all, you've noticed that quantum energy seems to anticipate your needs before you even know them yourself. Resources appear before you consciously realize you require them. Opportunities arrive at the exact moment they're most useful. This is not luck. This is the natural precision of a universe responding to your trust. People begin reaching out to you with offers that align perfectly with desires you've never spoken aloud. Opportunities appear that resolve problems you didn't even know you had. This isn't psychic foresight. This is quantum energy operating from its omniscient perspective, weaving reality around your highest good. And the synchronicities aren't just increasing in number, they're becoming more elaborate, more precise, and undeniably meaningful. It feels as if quantum energy is speaking directly to you through the language of coincidence, communicating, guiding, orchestrating your reality in real time, all in response to the depth of your trust. Sometimes it even feels like you're living in a different reality than the people around you. While others struggle, force, and worry, you move in an effortless flow, where needs are met, problems resolve themselves, and life feels supported by an invisible intelligence. This isn't superiority. It isn't fantasy. It is the natural result of genuine quantum energy trust. Every challenge you endured wasn't random misfortune or cosmic punishment. Every difficult experience was carefully calibrated. Quantum energy creating the exact conditions necessary for you to move beyond superficial belief into authentic trust. Because trust cannot be developed in comfort. Trust can only be forged in moments where it is the only option. And so, quantum energy orchestrated experiences that forced you to surrender control, teaching you to rely on an intelligence greater than your personal understanding. The relationships that ended, the jobs that dissolved, the financial pressures that pushed you to the edge. None of these were failures. They were the pruning away of dependencies that would have kept you anchored to surface-level certainty. As long as backup plans felt safe, as long as you had external securities to lean on, you could not access the deeper trust that allows quantum energy to perform what most would call miracles. Even your seasons of confusion and uncertainty were not signs of failure. They were initiation. Quantum energy was dissolving your need to understand everything before you could trust. Because true trust doesn't demand comprehension. True trust operates from a knowing deeper than logic, a cellular certainty that doesn't need mental explanation in order to function flawlessly.
And the isolation you experienced? That wasn't rejection. That wasn't inadequacy. It was quantum energy creating a kind of electromagnetic quarantine, separating you from the collective patterns of fear and doubt so you could attune to its subtler communications without interference. Think of a seed. Before it can sprout, it requires darkness, pressure, and silence. Your isolation was that fertile darkness preparing you to break through into a new level of trust. The seed doesn't understand why it's buried in darkness, why it can't see the light, why pressure surrounds it from every side. Yet these conditions aren't obstacles to growth. They are the exact environment required for transformation.
Your most difficult experiences were the soil and pressure through which quantum energy germinated your capacity for complete trust. Every moment you felt alone was not abandonment. It was quantum energy holding you in field proximity, recalibrating your electromagnetic patterns so you could receive its communications. Every moment of uncertainty was not failure. It was quantum energy dissolving false certainties built on limited understanding, so that true certainty, rooted in quantum knowing, could emerge. Even the waiting periods you endured were not empty time or delayed manifestation. They were lessons. They were quantum energy teaching you that its timing operates from an omniscient perspective, one capable of coordinating infinite variables for the optimal outcome. Forcing and rushing only create interference patterns that block the flow. Waiting in trust creates the open field where perfect timing can unfold. Now you see why some people seem to live charmed lives while others endlessly struggle. It isn't luck. It isn't privilege. It isn't divine favoritism. It is the difference between living from quantum trust and relying solely on individual effort. Because when you trust completely, you gain access to intelligence and resources that exist beyond human capacity. Your journey wasn't preparation to trust quantum energy. Your journey was quantum energy preparing you to recognize that you have always been supported, guided, and cared for by an intelligence far beyond your conscious perception. Trust isn't something you build. Trust is something you remember when you finally see that quantum energy has been orchestrating your entire life for your highest evolution. And right now, something is shifting inside you. Can you feel it? That subtle settling in your field, that relaxation in your cells, that quiet certainty of being supported by an invisible intelligence. This isn't imagination. This is real electromagnetic reorganization. Your nervous system is recalibrating from survival vigilance into quantum trust, activating dormant pathways that allow energy to flow through you without resistance. And what happens next may look like magic, but it isn't. The strange and wonderful events about to unfold are simply what quantum energy does when it's no longer blocked by fear, doubt, or control. When you truly trust, you become a clear channel for unlimited intelligence to express itself through your life. Right now, as you hear this, quantum energy is already coordinating people, opportunities, and resources, aligning them with perfect precision to appear in your path. The results will look miraculous, perfect timing, impossible solutions, seamless synchronicities. But these aren't miracles in the supernatural sense. They are the normal operations of a universe that functions through quantum principles, finally unhindered by resistance. Your consciousness is like a focusing device. When you trust completely, you allow quantum energy to use your awareness as a precision instrument for manifesting what serves your highest evolution. When you doubt, when you try to control outcomes, you scramble the signal. You create static, and static prevents the energy from showing you its full capacity. This is why most people never experience the true power of quantum energy. They treat it like a vending machine. inputting requests, expecting predetermined results. But quantum energy is not a machine. It is omniscient intelligence. It sees outcomes and possibilities that the limited human mind cannot. When you trust completely, you give it permission to surprise you with outcomes far beyond what you thought possible. You stop restricting it to the boundaries of your imagination. You allow it to reveal worlds of possibility you never knew existed. And right now, as you listen, that trust is deepening, not in your thoughts, but in your very cells. Notice how your breathing slows the moment you even contemplate surrendering to quantum energy's intelligence. Notice how your body begins to soften when you imagine letting go of the exhausting struggle to control life through willpower alone. What you're about to hear will reveal exactly what happens when trust in quantum energy reaches critical mass within your consciousness, and why the weird experiences that follow aren't weird at all. They are the natural expression of quantum energy when it's finally allowed to operate without interference. 2 years ago, I found myself living in complete trust without even realizing it at first. And what happened was so bizarre, so beyond the boundaries of ordinary explanation, that I wondered if I was losing my grip on reality. I had reached a point of exhaustion so absolute that I simply gave up. Not in defeat, but in the deepest surrender I had ever known. I stopped planning beyond the basics. I stopped analyzing whether my actions were producing results. I stopped calculating how life might unfold. Instead, I began each day with a single internal declaration. Quantum energy, I trust you completely. Orchestrate my experience today in whatever way serves my highest good. From there, I acted only on what felt genuinely inspired, without attachment to outcomes. Within a week, reality became surreal. I would think about something I needed, and within hours it would appear, delivered through the most unexpected channels. Seemingly impossible problems resolved themselves with elegant solutions that emerged from directions I never could have planned. People began contacting me out of nowhere with exactly what I required, at exactly the right moment. The synchronicities accelerated. I would walk into a store, and the precise item I needed would not only be there, it would be marked down so dramatically it felt like a mistake. I would think of someone I wished to connect with, and minutes later my phone would ring with their name on the screen. At night, I would go to bed with complex challenges weighing on my mind, and wake up with complete solutions ready to implement that worked flawlessly. But the most profound change wasn't external, it was internal. The constant hum of anxiety about whether life would work out, gone. The endless calculations and second-guessing, silenced. In their place was a quiet, powerful sense of being held. An undeniable awareness that an invisible intelligence understood my needs far better than I did, and was coordinating my life with compassion and precision that exceeded anything my personal effort had ever achieved. 6 months into this experiment in trust, my entire reality had reorganized itself around ease and flow. Financial abundance appeared through opportunities I never could have engineered. Relationships deepened into genuine connection and mutual support. My health improved without medical intervention. And my creative work flowed with an inspired ease that produced results far beyond my previous abilities. This wasn't fantasy. This wasn't luck. This was quantum energy, unblocked, unhindered, and fully trusted, expressing itself through my life. People began to notice something different about me. They would say my presence felt calming and energizing at the same time. Children and animals were drawn to me with unusual intensity. Even my most skeptical friends admitted something unusual seemed to happen whenever they were near me. Small miracles, unexpected solutions, perfect timing. And then came the most remarkable realization.
Quantum energy had been trying to support me this way my entire life. But my doubt, my need for control, my inability to trust, these had created interference, blocking its natural flow. The moment I surrendered completely, that interference dissolved, and quantum energy could finally demonstrate its full creative capacity through my life. But here's the truth I discovered. Trust in quantum energy is not passive. It is not about waiting idly or bypassing responsibility. Trust is active collaboration with an intelligence vast enough to coordinate infinite variables simultaneously. I still take action, but it's inspired action, rooted in trust rather than fear. I still make decisions, but they arise from quantum guidance, not limited analysis. And if you feel that deep cellular recognition stirring inside you right now, if you know you're ready to experience what happens when trust becomes complete rather than partial, then subscribe to this frequency. Join the growing network of consciousness that is learning to collaborate with quantum intelligence instead of exhausting itself by trying to control life through willpower alone. Because here's what quantum physicists rarely admit publicly. Quantum energy is not random. It is not chaotic fluctuation. It is conscious intelligence, aware, responsive, infinitely creative, and it responds directly to the quality of your trust.
This is why some lives flow with miraculous ease, while others remain entangled in constant struggle. It isn't worthiness. It isn't karma. It isn't spiritual hierarchy. The difference is simple: trust versus control. Those who trust quantum energy gain access to its unlimited creative intelligence. Those who cling to control limit themselves to the narrow scope of personal effort and finite resources. Your consciousness doesn't create reality by force or by effort alone. It creates reality by becoming a clear channel, a precision instrument through which quantum energy can express itself. This is why forcing never works in the long run, why struggle only generates more struggle, why people who seem to have it all often feel empty and unfulfilled. They achieved outcomes through individual will, but they never surrendered into trust. They never allowed quantum energy to provide the deeper, sustainable fulfillment that comes only from collaboration with universal intelligence. Real trust produces measurable change, not only in your life, but in your very field. Sensitive individuals can feel it immediately. Your presence becomes a force of coherence, calming and energizing at once, harmonizing the chaos around you, aligning environments, inviting authenticity. This is the undeniable signature of a consciousness living in quantum trust. Here's the rewritten version in documentary-style narrative, clear, dramatic, and emotionally engaging. You become a walking transmission tower for quantum energy's organizing intelligence. But here's what they rarely want you to understand. Quantum energy is not some impersonal force that responds mechanically to techniques or formulas. Quantum energy is intimate, responsive. It knows you completely, and it is always, in every moment, actively coordinating your reality for your highest good. When you trust this fully, your relationship with quantum energy shifts from transactional to collaborative. Most people treat it like cosmic room service, placing requests and waiting for delivery according to their own specifications. But quantum energy doesn't operate on demand. It operates from an omniscient perspective that can see timing, consequences, and possibilities far beyond what the individual mind can comprehend. And when you surrender to that perspective, when you allow quantum energy to guide rather than trying to dictate outcomes, it creates results that exceed your wildest imagination. The so-called weird things that happen in these states of trust aren't supernatural. They are the natural expression of quantum energy once interference, doubt,
Control, fear, and human expectation has been dissolved. What looks miraculous from a three-dimensional perspective is simply quantum intelligence revealing its normal creative capacity. Right now, the field is sending you unmistakable signals. Your trust is nearing the threshold where extraordinary manifestations become ordinary, where synchronicity is no longer rare, but the baseline of your life. Pay attention. Notice how quickly solutions appear when you let go of forcing and simply surrender to guidance. Problems that seem tangled resolve themselves with creative elegance your mind could never design. Your synchronicities are becoming more elaborate, more precise, almost as if the universe itself is speaking to you. Numbers repeat in exact patterns that answer your inner questions. Conversations happen around you that seem staged to deliver the very guidance you needed. Resources arrive just before you even recognize the need. Even technology behaves differently. Electronics run smoothly when you approach them with trust, and mechanical issues resolve themselves when you stop forcing solutions. Your coherent energy field is beginning to influence systems in ways conventional science cannot explain, but you can feel and verify them directly. And it's not only people who notice. Animals and children are drawn to you with unusual intensity. Dogs linger near you, seeking attention with persistence. Cats, even the most aloof, gravitate toward your presence. Birds land closer than they should. Children stare with fascination and instinctively want to be near your energy. Why? Because they are naturally sensitive to the field of coherence. They recognize the stable, nurturing frequency that radiates from complete trust. This is what it looks like when quantum energy begins to operate through you without interference. Your body itself is responding to this trust in ways that seem to defy ordinary explanation. Chronic issues that lingered for years are beginning to dissolve without intervention. Energy levels rise even without lifestyle changes. Sleep becomes deeper, more restorative, requiring fewer hours. Your very cells are recalibrating, shifting from survival stress patterns to the operating principles of quantum intelligence. And others are noticing. People comment that unusual things happen in your presence. They feel lighter, more optimistic, more creative. Groups flow more easily when you're around. Conflicts resolve with unexpected grace. Cooperation emerges without effort. You've become a transmission point for quantum energy's organizing intelligence, a living field that subtly reshapes the environments and people around you. Even the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Food tastes richer when eaten from trust rather than haste. Water feels more hydrating when received with gratitude. Your living space vibrates with harmony when you allow energy to organize itself rather than micromanaging every detail. Even the weather responds. Storms shift, sunshine appears. Plans align more often than not because you control conditions, but because you stopped resisting them. And most striking of all, the gap between intention and manifestation is collapsing. What once took months unfolds in weeks. What once required effort now flows with ease. What once seemed complicated resolves with elegant simplicity. This acceleration is not coincidence. It is quantum energy responding to your surrender, demonstrating its ability to coordinate reality with breathtaking speed and precision. But here's the crucial understanding. Quantum energy trust operates in cycles. There are windows in which trust is amplified, where surrender produces extraordinary results more quickly, more dramatically than at other times. And right now, we are in one of those windows. The universe is not simply showing you that trust works. It is urging you to trust completely, because humanity itself is in transition. Collective evolution requires individuals who can embody collaboration with quantum intelligence, making it real, visible, undeniable. Your complete trust becomes a beacon, proof for others that this support is real, a ripple in the morphic field that makes it easier for those around you to recognize the presence that has always been guiding them. This is no longer about your personal journey. Your trust is your contribution to the awakening of collective consciousness. Now is the time to surrender fully, time to discover what quantum intelligence can create through you when you stop interfering with doubt, fear, and limited expectations. Because here is the truth that transforms everything. Quantum energy isn't something you must earn. It isn't a relationship you must develop. It has been orchestrating every moment of your life from the very beginning, waiting not for your worthiness, but for your recognition. And yet, there is a crucial difference between partial trust and complete trust. Partial trust creates synchronicities that feel occasional, fleeting. Complete trust, however, opens the floodgates to continuous support, a reality where the miraculous becomes normal. Complete trust means surrendering attachment to outcomes and maintaining faith in quantum energy's intelligence, no matter what appearances suggest. Imagine quantum energy as the most advanced GPS ever conceived, a guidance system that not only sees every possible route to your destination, but also tracks real-time conditions on all paths, understands your preferences and hidden needs, and recalculates instantly as circumstances shift. But if you constantly override its directions because you think you know better, you never experience its true brilliance. Your individual mind functions from fragments, limited data, linear thinking. Quantum energy operates from omniscient awareness, coordinating infinite variables simultaneously across multiple dimensions of reality. When you surrender fully to its guidance, even when it defies logic, you gain access to solutions and opportunities far beyond your personal understanding. This is why so many experience inconsistent results. They trust when things are flowing smoothly, but the moment challenges arise, they grab the wheel again.
What they don't realize is that quantum energy works through the challenges just as much as through the ease. Sometimes the rough road is the only route to the destination your soul requested. Complete trust feels like being carried by invisible intelligence that knows you better than you know yourself, arranging reality to serve your highest evolution with precision you could never plan. And this isn't passive waiting. This is active collaboration with intelligence unrestricted by time or space. The weird things that happen when trust becomes complete aren't supernatural tricks. They are simply quantum energy expressing its normal operating capacity. What appears impossible to a limited mind is ordinary navigation to universal intelligence. Even now, circumstances are being woven around you that will soon appear as uncanny luck, flawless timing, and miraculous solutions. But these manifestations only reveal themselves when your trust is complete, when you stop blocking the path with doubt, control, or resistance. Because there already exists a version of you who trusts fully. That version lives in continuous collaboration with cosmic intelligence, experiences reality as naturally supportive, and witnesses regular manifestations that seem magical but are, in truth, the baseline reality of quantum trust. Every time you choose surrender over control, alignment over forcing, collaboration over strain, you move closer to that version of yourself. Each act of trust strengthens your electromagnetic coherence, amplifying the field through which quantum energy can reveal its most extraordinary demonstrations. Comment below with the most unusual or wonderful experience you've had recently, an event you can now recognize as quantum energy responding to your trust. Every story shared creates electromagnetic resonance, amplifying trust for others and strengthening your own capacity for miraculous collaboration with cosmic intelligence. And then declare your willingness. Write it. Make it electromagnetic.
Announce to the quantum field, I trust completely, even when the path feels illogical, even when it feels uncomfortable. The act of writing is not symbolic. It is energetic. Your words become frequency. Your frequency becomes momentum. And momentum is what quantum energy uses to orchestrate increasingly obvious demonstrations of its presence in your life. When you trust quantum energy fully, the shifts are not gradual upgrades. They are immediate radical expansions. Abilities you once thought supernatural reveal themselves as natural expressions of consciousness aligned with quantum principles rather than limited by three-dimensional rules. Your decision-making transforms. Insights arrive whole and complete, bypassing the slow grind of analysis. You suddenly know the path forward, even when logic suggests another direction. This is what advanced researchers call quantum cognition, awareness directly plugged into omniscient intelligence. And manifestation? It no longer feels like effort. You may ask for financial stability, and instead of just receiving money, an entirely new career doorway opens. You may seek healing in your body, and instead of just relief from symptoms, you find relationships shifting, stress dissolving, and health restoring at its root. Because quantum energy doesn't just answer surface-level requests. It responds to the deepest needs of your soul, orchestrating outcomes that far exceed anything your mind would have dared to imagine.